So there were two questions on the quiz that I think were a bit unfair. They were the what's it called, the Barron's questions at the very end. I had five questions there. Number three and number five, everybody got wrong. Oh no, well not everyone. So like I think two people got number three right. So so I'm gonna like take them out of the mix. So there are 19 questions on this document, and I'm gonna grade the quiz out of 17. But just to go over that, number three is what is the difference between a final variable and a constant. And if you look at Google and you look at Java, difference between a final and a constant, it kind of says like a final variable is one that cannot change, cannot be changed over the course of your program, right? So once it's assigned a value, you can never be changed. And then it defines a constant as a concept or property of the variable. Meaning, like you could say a final variable is constant, it never changes. So like the constant is like the adjective. That's really not the answer I was looking for. Although one student, I think it was Kimia, she did state that, and so that was great. And then, but if you like go ahead and click on here, there's like somebody down here who was talking about, yeah, it's a constant in Java is implemented using the final keyword, and this was actually the answer that I was looking for. So like if we're here and I say like int sky color or something like that is equal to blue, right? This here would be a constant variable signified by all caps, meaning that this guy is never going to change value, right? And yeah, and so the answer that I was looking for is that a constant and a final, there is no difference. So it was a bit of a trick question. But yeah, either definition would work in my book. A constant could be a property of a final variable, or they could mean the same thing, because you know programmers kind of use those two words interchangeably. And then we have the next one, number five. All of you guys, or most of you guys, wrote the code using a for loop, and the question asked for a for each loop. And so for eaches were gone over in the book in chapter 1. We haven't used it in any of our programs, or I don't think any of you guys have. Maybe, but the majority of you haven't. And so if we look at a for each loop, how does it work? Well, that's probably not a good example, because it talks about an array list, which is something that we're going to talk about in the future. But for eaches and array lists are like best friends, just like arrays and for loops are best friends. But if you look down here, this is a better example, right? So what do we have? We have an array called fruits, full of strings, just like our example. Question number 5 on our quiz. And so we say for the type of the variable, and then the temporary variable name. So this would be called I. That would be most recognizable to you. If we said string I, colon, and then the name of the array. And that means that for the first iteration of this loop, this temporary variable called fruit is going to be equal to orange. So if I have a system.out print line here with fruit, it would print out orange in the first iteration of the for loop. It would print out apple in the second iteration. It would print out pear, print out strawberry, and then since there's nothing left in this array, it would exit the for loop and continue execution down. So this is what I was looking for, but this is what I saw. So yeah, since all of you got it, like didn't really answer it correctly, I'll just kind of take it out of the mix. But it is something to note and something to be familiar with, and we are going to be using them like quite a bit as we move forward. So great, there we go.